friends, it's Sydney from Sid Plans It Out. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Today, I'm going to be doing my 2023 goals in the Makselife companion notebooks. So this is the annual goals. This is the companion notebook instructions. So this has all of the, this is how they do it kind of things. It has a life compass, which I went through and did, along with my assessment and my intentions. And then it talks a little bit more about their goal setting and gives you some ideas here. There's also this space that you can use to create like a list or a mind map or like a vision board or something like that. I don't know if I'm going to use that one yet. We'll see. But what I am going to be doing in this video is writing out my annual goals. So there are 8 sections of goals, and this is what we're going to fill out. Oh, there's also a vision board section back here. There's just so many things in this notebook. Okay, so I already wrote out all of my goals on separate pieces of paper so that I could scribble and do things and all of that good stuff. I would like to preface this by saying this could be a very long video. I'm not 100% sure. I would also like to say that if you're looking for more inspiration when it comes to goal setting, especially using like the Makselife companion notebooks or just Makselife in general, I highly recommend Taylor from Tattoo Teacher Plans on Instagram and YouTube. She's fantastic, and she definitely like reinvigorated me into wanting to use these and really focus in on them. And if you're on Instagram, I also highly recommend Nick from Marathon Planner. She is also super into her goals and her goal setting, and she shares them pretty regularly, I think. So definitely 2 people to go check out if you are looking for some more like inspiration and stuff for your goal setting. All right. Oh, and also Elise from Plan with Elise. I think she does a really good job of goal setting as well, and she doesn't use the Makselife. So if you're interested in a different kind of setup, you could also go check her out. Okay. Now we're going to get into actually doing this. So like I said, I have everything written down already. So I'm just kind of going to put these into here and talk about them as I do it. So the way that this is set up, so it has a section for you to write the goals. It has this little thing here. I'm not sure if you can see it in the yellow, but it says focus. So like, what is going to be your focus? And then every one of them has this prompt that says, how will my life improve by reaching these personal goals? I haven't quite thought that far ahead, if I'm being honest. Like, I saw it there and I was like, yeah, gotta come up with that. And I didn't 100%, but you know what? That's okay. We'll do it together. Or maybe I'll do it afterwards. We'll see what happens. Depends on how long this ends up being. All right. So I definitely am taking some inspiration from Taylor here from Tattoo Teacher Plans on how I want to set this up. And the focus that I'm going to put here, so my focus for personal is definitely progress and routines. So I want to focus on routines and making progress in routines and like in my personal goals, if that makes sense. Like, I know that everything is not just going to magically happen, like it's probably going to take a little bit to actually reach some of these goals. And maybe some of them end up being goals that filter into next year as well. Like it could be that way. So I definitely want to be, what's the word? I guess kind to myself and aware of like the fact that I may not hit every single one of these, but that's okay. And I feel like progress also really goes along with my word of the year, because I feel like when you're making progress, you're being persistent, right? You're persisting. You are continuing to go. So that's that, with my word of the year being persist. So that's what, kind of trying to tie everything back there. So I have my personal goals split out into 3 kind of categories here. And the way that I saw Taylor do this, I think she had something in the middle, like branching them out, but I think I'm just going to like kind of not necessarily copy, but like use hers as an inspiration. She did like clouds around hers and like, you know, these are the sections, and then wrote off of them. I think I'm just going to write off of this, like write the sections and then put the stuff under them that goes with them. I think it'll make more sense once I start writing. So my 3 sections for personal are social media, routines, and self-care. So, oh Lord, of course my handwriting is going to be special today. Also, I hate writing the letter S. I don't know if it's just because I write it all the time because it's in my name or what, but I despise it. So I think I'm just going to do like some doodly kind of circles around these to highlight like these are the sections. And I'm using my Makselife markers that match these pretty well since they were made to companion with like the colors of this year's planners. Okay, so social media goals. Things. So I want to make sure that I am using my planner. I get into this habit sometimes, or, you know, this thought process where I'm like, oh, I don't need that. But then I'll get like really overwhelmed because I'm not using it. And I want to make sure that I'm using it because it's something that is helpful to me, even if sometimes it might feel redundant. It's helpful to me to have. So make sure that I'm using my planner. I really want to strive for 1 reel a week in 2023. I did decent with it for a while and then I got off of it, and I want to get back to it because it definitely helps with growth and engagement on Instagram. And then my last social media goal is really just to have fun, because that's really why I started social media. Like why I started doing this was just to have fun and be able to share things and see other people's creativity and whatnot. So it's definitely something that I want to focus on for 2023. Is it measurable? Maybe not really, but it's just something that I want to like have in the forefront of my mind of like, I'm doing this to have fun. Yeah, so those are social media goals. I was thinking that I would set like number goals, right? Like something specifically measurable. But then I realized like that's how I came to have fun, because I was like, I really don't care about the numbers. Like they're super cool to see and like to watch them grow, but it's not really like a goal of mine to like get to a certain number, because I think I've explained this before, but this market of, you know, this niche of planners and social media is very saturated, right? So I think that setting number goals can really just be like detrimental to your mental health, honestly. And I feel like having fun is really why we all started doing this. So that's really what I want to focus on, is just having fun. If the numbers come, awesome. If they don't, whatever. I still had fun doing it and I put out things that I enjoyed. So there's that. Okay. routines. So definitely want to solidify my AM routine and my PM routine. I have pieces to them, and like there are certain things that I try to make sure that I'm doing every day, but there's not like, you know, these few things make me feel good, so I'm going to make sure that I get those done in the morning or in the evening or whatever. So I want to make sure that I'm really working on solidifying those and like really drawing them out for myself, and maybe trying some different things every once in a while, trying to see what things work for me and what I enjoy and what adds to my life versus just being like another thing to tick off. You know, I feel like sometimes with routines we get into like, well, I need to do these 17 things because that's what other people do and those are going to be best for me. But maybe in reality, there's like 3 things that are best for me and that's it. That's all I need to do. And then I'm going to feel good and prepared for the day, or, you know, ready to go to bed at night and, you know, that kind of thing. So that's really what I'm working on there. I also want to, I'm just going to put skincare here because I'm not quite sure how to phrase it. So I don't necessarily have a skincare routine. I kind of do, but not really. And I would like to, by the end of the year, I would like to have a skincare routine. So maybe I'll just write skincare routine. I don't know. And then each month I'll like, you know, like I think in January, the goal for skincare routine is going to be research what I need, figure out what I need, work on what things, you know, just like the defining the pieces of what it's going to be. This is gonna be a really long video. I can already tell. Oh boy. All right. Buckle up. All right. Self-care. So, I'm trying to figure out like where I want to put it because I didn't leave like a ton of room. All right, let's go here first. And I'm going to start with this one that is definitely going to be a buildup, right? I feel like with annual goals, the goal is to be at these by the end of the year, but you don't need to be there like to start out, right? Like this is something you want to have done by the end of the year. So write it out and then break it down every month. So I would like to do, by the end of the year, I would like to be doing mindfulness/meditation 3 times a week. However, right now, like for January, I don't know that I've ever really done this. So maybe in January, it's just like doing a little bit of research on mindfulness and meditation, figuring out like kind of what I want, maybe trying out a few different things like throughout the month, that kind of thing, versus just being like, all right, here we go. We're going to do this 3 times a week starting in January. Like that's not reasonable or how it should go, in my opinion. Like these are things to build up to. All right. So the next one for self-care, I would like to unplug 1 day a week. So when I say unplug, I mean like no social media 1 day a week, which I don't always have something to post on social media. So I would probably pick like that day. Like that would be my day of the week that I don't post anything, like I don't need to even open the apps kind of thing. Because I really find myself getting sucked in. So maybe for, you know, like to break it down, like we start with just no social media, or like, you know, unplug at 7, or, you know, no social media during lunch, or like something like that. Just breaking it down into pieces to give myself a build up to it kind of thing. All right, the last one for self-care. I love painting and drawing. I don't do it enough. Yeah. So I would like to paint or draw 2 times a month. Like, I would like that to be a thing by the end of the year. Maybe in January, you know, it's like just 1 time throughout the month, do it kind of thing. Like, I'm just trying to keep them reasonable for like my amounts of time as well. All right. I need to pick up the pace here. All right. For fun and recreation, I have 2 sections. So my focus is enjoyment, because there's a lot of things that I do that I enjoy. Like, I enjoy reading and I enjoy doing social media things and, you know, stuff like that. But I really want to focus on getting more enjoyment out of life and the things that I'm doing in 2023. So enjoyment is the focus, and my 2 sections are going to be enjoyment, which might seem a little bit repetitive, but it works for me. And then I'm trying to think of like how to phrase this other one. I have it phrased as vacation, but it's not really what it is. Like, it kind of is. I don't know. We'll put it that way, mostly just because I can't think of another word for it. And one of these is kind of a stretch goal. And the reason that it's a stretch goal, so like something that may or may not happen, but something that, you know, I'm kind of striving for, is because taking an actual vacation, like getting on a plane and going somewhere decently far away, requires money. And I have a lot of financial goals for 2023, so a vacation may not be in the cards, but it's something that I would like to have written down, just so it's something that I don't like just push away kind of thing. So I'm going to do Arizona, because that's where I want to go. And then I'm going to put that it's a stretch goal. And I think I'm going to do it like this, because, you know, that requires money. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's something that I would like to do. And then I would like to use all of my PTO time in 2023, because I have it, it's there, it's good for you to take those PTO days, so do it. And I'm really bad at it because I'm like, well, I don't have anywhere to go or anything to do or anyone to like hang out with really, so there's no reason to take time off. But there is a reason, right? Like, it's good for you. All right, for enjoyment, I want to do one me date. One me date day every month. So, you know, by the end of the year, every month I would like to pick like a Saturday or a Sunday where I just go and do a bunch of things that I enjoy by myself and just hang out and do, you know, do those things. So like maybe for January, the goal is to like take just like a few hours once a month to go do something for myself, that kind of thing, which like it's also hard for me sometimes to like think through things like that, because I'm like, well, I spend most of my time alone, so like, wouldn't that be something like that I'm doing anyway, like anytime I go out or whatever? But I want to make it more intentional. I would also like to go to the library every other week. I enjoy going to the library. It also is something for me to work on my reading goal, which we'll get to. But yeah, I want to do that because I enjoy it. And then I don't know what it is with me, but I suck at watching TV. Actually, I think I know what it is. It's the ADHD factor of I don't really want to watch this because it like requires me to sit still and to pay attention. I would rather just watch something that I already know so I don't have to pay 100% attention and can do something else at the same time. But every month, I would like to pick a new show or movie to watch. I'm thinking maybe in January it's just going to be like a movie because that's a shorter time commitment. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But that's what I want to do there. All right, this is getting long and I've only done 2 sections. Maybe this needs to be in 2 parts, or maybe I just need to talk less. But I like want to explain it too, so I don't know. I guess just buckle up. I hope you're ready. All right. Balance is definitely what I want from work. I make this mostly like a work involved section versus like anything else. It's really just work, but my goal is to be balanced at work. Like I said, like I want to use all my PTO time. I want to take time for myself. I want to walk away from my freaking computer. Like nobody needs me to be available every single second of every day. So I want to focus on that balance. Especially because the year that we have coming up at work is absolutely insane. So if I don't focus on it, then I'm not going to, yeah. Okay. This one is not necessarily like a measurable goal, or really like this is kind of goes with like this have fun of where it's something more of a reminder than it is an actual like measurable goal. But it's something that I want to have here because I'm going to keep coming back to these. So I want it to be something that I have available. So ask for help. You don't have to do it all. Sometimes I get stuck in this loop of like, it's my project. I have to do this. Like, I need to ask someone just how to do it so that I can do it myself. Not, I need to ask someone to help me do it because there's not enough hours in a day. There's not enough of me. So, you know. Okay. This one, again, it's like a lot of these are hard to be like measurable, I guess, but they're things that I want to have written out. Leave work at work or in work hours. So this would be like, don't check Teams or emails or whatever, like after 5 o'clock, or like when I'm on break, like I'm on break, it's lunch, nobody needs me, leave me alone. Like I don't need to keep checking things. The other one is to walk away from my desk and take breaks because I just get sucked into like, I need to sit here, and I really don't. I can walk away from my computer. Everything will be okay. Things that I need to keep telling myself. Okay, the big thing here that I have with learning is that I want to finish this dang freaking preceptor checklist that I've talked about a couple times. Or, you know, maybe every time that I've done a goal setting, like weekly goals, but I want to finish that list this year. I want to do it. It might be a little bit of work, but I can do it. The other one here again, is just kind of like a reminder for myself to take notes, because I'll like learn something and I'll be like, cool, and I'll go right into doing it, and then the next time I do it, I won't remember how to do it because I didn't take any notes, because I did it like right away. So, reminder to myself, make sure you're taking notes. Okay, family and relationships. The focus here is effort. I feel like I'm really good at making excuses for other people before I even ask them if they are available for things or if they want to do things, especially with my family. Like, I'm really good at just being like, oh, well, we just saw them, or, you know, we just hung out with them, or, you know, something along those lines. So I'm sure that they're too busy and they don't want to hang out with me. But like, how am I going to know for sure if I don't ask? So family time, and then I'm going to put like a friends section here. I have to be honest with you guys, and I'm not saying this to like elicit pity or anything. I just like, I don't know what it is, but I'm not good at keeping friends, I guess. I'm not sure. I have like one friend, honestly, and he doesn't even live here. So there's going to be some effort that I have to put in to spend time with him. And then also I want to just like maybe make some friends, which takes effort. Like, I have to go out and do things and like interact with people. So yeah. We're gonna do meet new people here as one of the things, which is so weird that that feels like outside of my comfort zone, because I always have thought I was a really social person, but I guess not. Like, the older I get, the more I'm like, ugh, I don't want to. I'm gonna put visit Skylar, so that's my friend who doesn't live here. Visit him twice. That would be good. Okay, dating. I haven't dated in forever. Yeah. I don't know. It's daunting. It's awful. Yeah. So we're just gonna put meet new people there, and then, we're just gonna put try. Like, that's really all there is to it. Like, you gotta try it. So yeah, that's that. I'll figure it out. Dating when you're, in your late 20s, gross. That's gross to think about. But dating when you're like in your late 20s and you haven't dated in a long time, and like after COVID, everything is weird, and yeah, it's strange. It's difficult. It's not something that I really enjoy, but also like I do want to have those kinds of relationships and like, hopefully someday get married kind of thing. So I gotta put in the effort. I gotta try. So that's where we're at with that. Okay. Family time. So I want to make sure that I'm going home once a week to, see my parents, see my siblings. Well, my brother. Gracie's, my sister's sometimes there, but my brother. Like my brother for sure. Although he's a very busy little 16-year-old, so sometimes he's not there either. Sometimes I'll go home and nobody's there. That's always really fun. Oh, goodness. All right. The other two here are going to be do something. Just something, anything. With my siblings. And I'm gonna put once a quarter just because I feel like it's more reasonable with us all having decently busy lives. Well, with them having busy lives, I don't really have a busy life, but with them having busy lives, I feel like it's a lot easier to just, it's more reasonable, more realistic to say do something once a quarter. And then I want to do something with my grandparents, whether that be like dinner, breakfast, just hanging out, who knows. Also once a quarter, because they, like, sometimes they're just not there. Like when I go home, they're just not there. All right, that took 30 minutes to get through 4 of them. Is this going to be an hour-long video? I really hope not. All right, this is why I've been putting off this video. All right. Okay, health and wellness. Here we go. Yeah, please hold. I think I did some math wrong here. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. All right. Sorry. Not even for this one either, but for the next one. It's fine. Okay. The focus for health and wellness is going to be increasing my energy. I feel like that is really what I want, is to increase my energy levels. And that is going to involve paying more attention to what I'm eating, making sure that I'm not sitting on my butt all day, making sure that I'm, filling my rings, making sure that I'm mentally filling my cup as well. So yeah. All right. There are 3 things here. So we're going to put strength, which this one of them could potentially be like a stretch type of goal, just because I'm still doing PT and I don't know like when I'm actually going to be able to like start doing this, or if I'm going to be able to. So, but we'll get to that in a second. And then, okay, so strength, movement. I have water, but I really don't want it to be water. I want it to be, let's do nourishment. Because yes, I want to focus on water, but I also want to focus on eating better. I really like these little scribbly circle things, ovals, whatever. Okay, so strength. My 2 things here. So for sure, want to continue with my physical therapy journey, because that's going to help me gain strength in my shoulder, which will help me to potentially be able to start weight training, strength training, weightlifting. But we're gonna do weight training. And I don't 100% have like measurements for that one right now, like how much I want to do or anything like that. It's gonna be kind of a play it by ear type of thing, because I have to get my shoulder, in good shape from physical therapy first before I can start on this. All right, for movement, okay, so this one is like kind of subsets of itself. Okay, I'm just gonna write it. So I want to focus on filling my rings. Like I want to close my rings on my Apple Watch, so like the rings. I want to close my rings every day. So we're gonna do close rings, and then this like kind of has offshoots of it. Well, I guess those would be like what I'm going to do that. So I guess close rings would be that. And then this is kind of like a repetition of, okay. Sorry, needed to get my brain together. So close rings. So what I actually had written was to do my 10-hour stand goal every day and then to get 30 minutes of movement 5 days a week. But that would be like closing my rings, right? Because I almost always close the, whatever the red ring is, what is that one? The movement, so like the calories one. I pretty much always fill that one, but it's just the exercise one and then the standing one. Don't always fill those. So that's why I like wrote those two down specifically, but I think those are going to be like breakouts. You know, I'll focus on, like I'm going to start the year probably by focusing on closing my standing ring every day and then move into working on closing my exercise ring and that kind of thing. So that's really what that is. And then here, I want to, it kind of goes back to this, right? Like making sure that I'm not sitting on my butt all day. So I think we're just gonna put, actually let's do stand during work. So like I'm standing right now while I'm doing this because I have like a standing desk thing that I put on top of my desk, so it rises like a desk riser, I guess, but I want to make sure that I'm like actually doing that instead of just sitting on my butt all day long. All right, the two here are going to be 96 ounces of water daily, and then this one's also going to be kind of vague, which is kind of what they say not to do in here. But for me, I want the annual goals to be a little bit more open-ended because it's easier for me to then like concentrate on one piece of it every month and then break that one piece down every week. So eat healthier, I know is super vague, but like every month I can pick something that I'm going to change from my eating habits and, you know, stuff like that. That's kind of my thought process with making that super vague. I know it's not necessarily the best way to write annual goals, but it works for me. At least in my head it does. All right, spiritual and personal growth. So consistency is my key here, which I can't spell this word, you guys. I can't do it. Okay, I figured it out. I don't know why, I just really struggle with that word. It makes no sense to me. That word just doesn't make sense, but okay. So consistency here is what I'm going for. So faith and then reading. Those are my two, like I would say reading is very much like a personal growth thing to me. I think that faith is as well, even though it could also be like the spiritual aspect. So yeah. Okay. What I want here. I talked about this a little bit in my weekly goals. I have a goal of going to church this week. So I want to go back to church in 2023. We'll do consistently. because, you know, sometimes, which I know like but it's fine. Sometimes I can't go back to, like, I can't go to church, right? Like, I'm out of town, or, you know, sometimes things come up and you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that instead. But I want to, like, consistently be going. And then I also want to write in my planner, like, write in my faith planner every day, which I'm doing decent with. But again, I sometimes will get off on it and then it'll be lost for like 3 days. All right, reading. So I want to read 50 books, which is a lot, and it's a lot more than I read this year. But it breaks down to like 4 books a month, which I know is like kind of like a book a week, but also there are weeks like when I'm traveling that I could probably read 2 books like while I'm traveling, because like depending on how long they are or whatever. So I want to read 50 books. That's the goal. If I don't hit it, I don't hit it. It's fine. But that's what I want the goal to be in order to push myself to keep reading, kind of thing. And then in order to hit this goal, but also just like for my mental health, really, I want to read 30 minutes. Well, actually, I don't actually care how long it is. I wrote 30 minutes, but I really just want to read 5 days a week. For January, the goal might be like 3, depending on what my other goals end up being. But that's what we're striving for by the end of the year, is 5 days a week at least. All right. We've been doing this for a while. If you're still here, I appreciate you. I know that there's been a lot of talking here, but I feel like there's a lot to annual goals, and there's a lot of sections, and there's a lot of pieces to everyone's life, right? And there's a lot of different things to focus on and pay attention to, and things to think about. And I want to make sure that I'm explaining it as well, so it's not just like, here you go, here's my goals, but like why I chose those goals and kind of my thought process. So I know it's getting a little bit long, but I kind of figured it was going to be, because I want to make sure that I'm doing you guys justice by explaining it detailed enough that doesn't seem like I'm just here writing in this notebook while you're watching. All right. Financial goals, definitely like security. Like, do I feel like I'm unsecure with my money? Not necessarily, but I also know that like if for some reason I lost my job or something, I would probably be struggling, and I don't want to feel that way, you know? Like, I want to make sure that I have financial security. That's really what I'm going for in 2023. I made decent amounts of progress on my financial journey in 2022 and also in 2021. And for 2023, I really just want to just really get into it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I have this written out in 3 sections over here, but one of them is really more of like a brainstorming section than it was like an actual, than it is like an actual category. It was really just me kind of yelling at myself. Okay, so the 2 categories here are savings and credit card debt, because I was a dumb college kid who was like, well, I don't have any money, let's get a credit card. Really stupid of me, but it happens. I feel like it happens to a lot of people. So we'll come back to that one. Let's start with savings. So I want to continue on my sinking funds journey. I want to make sure that I'm contributing to them, make sure that they're not all just fun things, but some of them are actually, you know, for bills and stuff like that. Like I just started a sinking fund for my car payment, like my auto insurance renewal. That way I don't have to pay it every month and I can just pay it all in full because it's cheaper that way and it will be one less thing for me to worry about. So if I just put the money aside into a sinking fund, then I don't have to worry about it. And that is something that sounds amazing. So definitely a focus on sinking funds. I also want to focus on my $1,000 savings fund that I have been slowly working on. I want to really dig into that in 2023. The other thing, okay, so there's a bunch of stuff that I wrote down here because I was just being salty with myself a little bit, but we're gonna do, like, sometimes you just kind of start yelling at yourself, you know? Anyone else? I'm gonna put spend within my means. So this one really, to me, is just because I have the money doesn't, like, just because there's money there doesn't mean it needs to be spent, right? Like, maybe you could use it to put some more on your credit card at the end of the month, or, you know, something like that. It doesn't need to be spent just because you have it. Make sure that you're spending, like, within your means. Also, that also goes with credit cards. Like, if you don't have the money for it and you would need to use a credit card, then you don't need it right now. You need to save for it and, you know, focus on something else. So it's kind of what I'm going for there. And then I don't know, I have a couple other things. So let's do, I think, savings challenges is kind of how I want to put this. Maybe we'll just put, like, challenges. So, like, no spend challenges, savings challenges, things like that, to get myself to really pay more attention to where I'm putting my money. That's kind of what I'm going for with that. Okay, credit card. I want to have extremely minimal, no credit card usage would be the best way to go about it. However, there are instances where something comes up out of the blue, you just weren't prepared for it, and you have to spend money. Like, in those situations, I want to still give myself the grace to know that, all right, I might need to use this credit card, but I don't want to be, like, just using it all the time because, oh, I want this thing, but I don't have the money for it, so I'm going to put it on my credit card. So we're going to do minimal usage. That's really what I'm going for. That'll also help me to pay it down, because if I'm not using it, then there will be, obviously interest that gets added to them, but that's really it, if I'm not using it. So fingers crossed that I can stick to that one. Actually, let's just put minimal to no usage, because that's really, like, what I want, but minimal might have to be what it is in some instances. Okay. And then I'm going to put reduce debt. I know that that's also kind of vague, but, like, I don't know how to, like, say it. Like, yes, it's kind of vague, but each month there might be something different that I do. Like, maybe one month I get, I have extra money somewhere, so I pay more on it. Or, maybe there's a month where I don't use it at all. So, like, that's gonna, those kind of things. It's gonna be a work in progress kind of thing there. So, all right, last section, and then this long video will be done, and then you'll have more insight into my goals and my life. That's kind of how I feel about this, is like, this is a very, very much an insight into my life and my brain. All right. Also, I apologize for all of the ums. I feel like I've said a lot of them. It just, when I'm trying to think and also read and also talk, sometimes there's a lot of them, and I apologize. Moving on. Physical environment. I want to reduce clutter. I have a lot of things. I don't necessarily need all of the things. I just have a lot of things. Yeah. So, but the two places that I feel like I have the most things are in my closet, where I have a ton of clothes that I just don't wear. Because, dang it, I did it again. Sorry. Because currently they don't fit, but also my style has kind of changed, and like the things that I like and all of that sort of things. So I definitely want to focus on getting rid of some of that. And then planner stuff. I have an obscene amount of planner stuff, and I could probably, it could use some going through. I did a little bit earlier this year, but I feel like it just keeps getting more and more, and it's a little overwhelming. Like, my thought process here is, if I had to move right now, the amount of planner stuff that I have is overwhelming, and it would overwhelm me to have to move. I don't want that. Granted, I know that it's probably going to continue being a lot because it just is. But I want it to be less, I guess. Will I ever be a person that is very minimal with their planner things? Probably not, but it would just feel nice to reduce what feels like clutter. Like, my desks need to be cleaned out too. They're kind of a disaster. All right. I did smart things that time, and I wrote while I was speaking. So with the closet, I want to clean it out and organize it. So I want to go through all of the clothes and just, I think I'm going to write that here, actually. We'll do this. Go through all clothes. There's stuff in there that I honestly haven't even thought about touching in years, but I suck at getting rid of things. This is really a problem for me. And then once I go through all of those clothes, I want to make sure that I'm donating clothes that can be donated. So, you know, when you go through clothes, there's some things that you're just like, nope, that's done for. It's got to go in the trash. But if I have the opportunity to donate things, I would like to. All right. Last section here. We're going to organize stickers because right now they're kind of everywhere. They're not, but they are. There's a lot of them. So they're kind of, they feel like they're everywhere. And then I think I'm probably going to do a de-stash at some point because I have too much stuff, I feel like. I want to go through, let's see, let's do clean out / organize the desks. There's 2 desks that I have that are right next to each other, and they both have like storage in them, and like, you know, just like the little shelf underneath them for the most part. One of them has a bigger shelf, but that's beside the point. But there's just like a lot of stuff in them, and they need to be, I need to go through them because a lot of it is stuff that I don't need. I'm just like holding on to because this is how I am as a person. And then I think I need to buy a storage shelf. I think that would help to make me feel more organized and less like things are everywhere. All right, I did it. It took me almost an hour, but I did it. Woo, maybe, you know, part of me was thinking I would go back and edit some of this, but I think that it's just going to be what it is because I talked pretty much the whole time. So there's not really going to be anything to edit, but that's it. I did it. I wrote out my goals, and now you understand why I didn't want to, why I've been dreading / putting off, not really dreading, just been putting off this video because it was a lot of work to go through and explain everything. I think that was the big thing, was going through and explaining it all. If I would have just written it all out, it probably wouldn't have taken as long. But I wanted to make sure that I was explaining things because I feel like part of being someone who shares things like this on YouTube is helping other people to set those goals. And yeah, I might not be fantastic at goal setting yet. Like, I haven't done it for very long or very often or anything like that. But I feel like that's something that's also nice to share, is like, you don't have to be perfect at this. You just have to try. Like, you just have to put in the effort. And that's what I tried to do, is just put in the effort. And that's really like the biggest thing. I want to make sure that I am persisting throughout this year in these goals and in my intentions for the year. So now that I've talked to you for an hour, I'm gonna wrap up this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you got something out of this video. If you watched through this whole video, I appreciate you so much. And I really just, yeah, I hope that you guys have a good 2023. And if you're setting goals, that you're not being too hard on yourself. You're being realistic and knowing where you're at now in order to work towards your goals and how you want your 2023 to look. So thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, you can hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.